Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Juan. I am just one reader. I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about Stephen King. Stephen King is an author that people are talking a lot about now because of some of the movie adaptations of his work that have come out recently, such as The Dark Tower and more recently It. Now, Stephen King to me is a very, very, very important author. He is one of my favorite writers, and he is an author that I have read pretty consistently throughout my life. Now, the man is incredibly prolific and productive. I have lost count of how many books he has written, but I still feel like I have read my fair share of Stephen King books. So I wanted to share my top 10 Stephen King books that I've read so far. In case you want to try out this author, here are some recommendations. Now, a quick disclaimer. There are three very important Stephen King books that I will not be including in this top 10. One of them is It, because I am in the middle of reading it right now, and I can tell you right away, this is going to be one of my favorite books ever, one of my favorite books of the year, one of my favorite books of all time. It's amazing, but yeah, I'm still not done with it, so I will not be mentioning it. The other one is The Shining, and the other one is Misery. I will not be mentioning those books because whenever I think of them, I immediately picture the movies. The movies of The Shining and Misery are so ingrained in my brain that I honestly don't feel comfortable recommending you the book because I feel like I am recommending you the movie instead. So I cannot really distinguish what is the movie and what is the book, so I still recommend that you try both of them, but I will not be including them in my top 10 just because I don't really know what is the difference between book and movie. I read them ages ago, so yeah, go and watch the movies or read the books. They're great anyway. Now, without any further ado, I'm just gonna jump right in with number 10. So coming in at number 10, this is Thinner. This is one of the shortest Stephen King books that I've read. And all I will say is, if you're looking for something thrilling, exciting, fast-paced, adrenaline-filled, gives you the adrenaline rush experience, this is very addictive and it's really cool. Coming in at number 9 is Dolores Claiborne. This is not your typical Stephen King. This is not scary, this is not horror at all. This is about a woman called Dolores Claiborne who is in the middle of a trial. She's being accused of a murder, and we follow her story as she gives her statement. And we follow her story. There's a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of, psychological nuance, a lot of characterization. It's a great, great story. Coming in at number 8 is the one and only Carrie. This is just as great as the original movie is, which is great. However, the biggest difference between the book and the movie is that the book is told from newspapers, from articles, from magazine clippings, from interviews, from reports, from different media that really make up for a very interesting reading experience, I think. It is, or it feels like you're piecing a puzzle together slowly, and it's just a remarkable short little story. And yeah, if you haven't read Carrie and you love the movie, what are you doing? Go and read it. Coming in at number 7 is Under the Dome. This is one of Stephen King's bigger books, but it's amazing. I mean, some of his books are really, really, really long, but don't be intimidated by the length. They are really fast-paced and really addictive, and this is a great example of that. I read this in less than a week, and it's about this small town with a very eccentric, weird, strange, bizarre cast of characters in it, and you probably know the premise of this because there's a very popular TV show that they made out of this. So the town one day wakes up to find that it has been trapped under this dome or under this bubble. No one can escape, and shit happens. Coming in at number 6, I have The Eyes of the Dragon. Again, this is not scary, this is not horror, this is Stephen King writing fantasy. Your typical swords, wizards, warlocks, witches type of fantasy. It's really fun, really fast-paced, really intriguing. It's kind of a dark fantasy, but I remember loving this book. So if you enjoy fantasy and you want to try some Stephen King, this one. Coming in at number 5 is The Dead Zone. This is one of the first Stephen King books that I read, and I loved it so much. This is about a man who wakes up from a coma after having a really bad car accident. And he wakes up from the coma to find out that he now has some psychic powers, and he can, he has some visions of the future. And he has to stop this candidate from becoming president because he knows that if he becomes president, something awful will happen. This is really great. There is a movie adaptation with Christopher Walken, I think it is, which is also good, but the book is just a gem. Coming in at number 4 is my favorite Stephen King short story collection. So if you're gonna pick up one of his collections, I recommend this one, Night Shift. This has fantastic stories in it. It has some really great gems. There's not a single story in here that doesn't deserve your time. Coming in at number 3 is Pet Sematary. This is a book that I found really compelling and chilling, but also really important thematically because it's all about life and death and what makes life life and what makes life important and valuable. It's an amazing story. It's really thrilling. It has all the good Stephen King qualities, and the last sentence in this book will chill you to the bone. Coming in at number 2 is The Green Mile. I just remember loving this book so passionately because of the characters. They are so human and so fleshed out. Even the unlikable characters are so amazing. And of course, this is a very popular story thanks to the movie, The Green Mile, which is also very good. But there's something in his writing which makes it really personal. So if you enjoy the movie, definitely try the book. It's really easy to read. It's very fast. And again, this is not horror. This is not scary. It has supernatural elements which, are always present in Stephen King's work, or almost always present. But it's just a wonderful story. He is an amazing storyteller, and what he does with this thematically, again, is also amazing. And my favorite Stephen King book so far, probably my favorite horror novel, period, is Salem's Lot, coming in at number 1. Salem's Lot is a fantastic story. It's about vampires, which sounds off-putting if you don't like vampires. Personally, I don't really care that much about vampires, but this story goes beyond that. It's an amazing story about fear. I am actually finding a lot of similarities between this and It, which I'm currently reading. It's about fear, it's about childhood, it's about growing up, it's about otherness, it's about small towns, it's about communities, and it's also incredibly chilling and dark. It's not very long, but it's not short either, so you really get to enjoy and spend a lot of time with these amazing characters. It's just all around, it's an amazing book. So guys, those are my top 10 books, my recommendations for Stephen King. Please let me know in the comments down below if you enjoy reading Stephen King, if you don't enjoy reading Stephen King, why, what are your favorite Stephen King novels and why, or if you have any Stephen King novels that have disappointed you. God knows I have some of those too. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below and we will have a conversation about Stephen King.